All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the DLLS Cowboys Podcast, and we are honored to be joined by one of my favorite people in the entire media game, much less when it comes to the NFL draft world, from Pro Football Focus and the co-host of the NFL Stock Exchange Podcast, the great and powerful Trevor Sikkema. How you doing, Trevor?
Jeff, I'm always excited to come on with you, but it's always a little bit intimidating because I know you do your homework.
Oh,
and
yes.
so I have to be ready.
Yeah.
I have to be ready for this. So
Yeah.
whatever prospect we're going to talk about, I can't BS my way around it because you'll probably call me out.
I'm only about 80 players in, so anybody beyond the third round,
so
you can
I'm
lie
gonna-
to me
I'm
about.
going to strictly talk about guys out of the top 100 to make sure that you guys are just like, yeah, that sounds good, actually.
No, so my favorite thing, like the NFL draft is my favorite thing in sports, right? I talk about the Cowboys for a living. I love when we get to draft season. I love watching the tape. I love ranking players. I love seeing other people's rankings that don't look like mine.
Right.
I love that.
Right.
Because we're all, I think some people feel like you're disrespecting what you're doing or what other people are doing when you say, we're guessing. Like we are watching what guys do.
Oh, for sure.
Observing what we think translates and why, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera,
Yeah.
and then projecting what's going to happen. And we don't know.
Yeah.
So if the consensus is Caleb Downs is a generational safety prospect, he's absolutely incredible.
Right.
Yes, we all
Right.
agree he's a really nice prospect.
Right.
If somebody out there liked someone else better and it's just like, I just like him better, and here's why, and they can make a good case, and like it happens a lot where the guy who picked the outlier is right in the long run, and everybody
Right.
just ignores it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, that was crazy talk. You got lucky there.
This class also should be more disagreement and less consensus, I feel like, than anything, right? Because there's so much there. I don't say this to say that there's not going to be difference makers or there's not going to be starters that you're going to get in this class, because there are. But there are so many less players that you can look at and say, hey, no matter where you land, you're going to be good. And I know, like you said, like it's kind of a where it's a bit of a fantasy to think that with anybody anyways, because landing spot matters a lot for these guys. But there's just so fewer prospects that you just go, yeah, it doesn't matter where you land, you're going to be really good. For a lot of these prospects, it's going to be a little bit about, hey, this is how I see this player sort of within a scheme, what he's asked to do, what he does really well. And I think that whenever that's the case, rankings should be kind of all over the place. So I'm actually hoping we have less consensus this year because I think it makes it a lot more fun.
You know, Trevor, one of the things that we've experienced in the last couple of combines, there are players coming from college, getting to the combine and going, not doing anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm good.
Right.
I'll either go to my pro day and do stuff,
Right.
or I won't do anything at all, and you got to go off the tape, a la Harrison Jr. when he did that a couple
Right.
years ago.
Yeah.
Like, does this class seem like more of a class that said you guys need to go out here and perform?
Yeah.
Like we need to see you out here performing.
Yeah, kind of. And obviously, I'll get asked this question a lot about, hey, what do you think about guys that are going to work out versus guys that aren't going to work out? I get tape is king, right? So I don't fault anybody for saying like, hey, just watch the tape. So
Trust the tape is what I would say.
That's your little podcast.
I won't. I won't. That's good. That's a good plug there. I won't punish a guy for not working out unless it's like through injury, like Jordan Tyson's whole thing, where it's like, hey, you have injury history and you're not going to work out because your hamstring's still bad after 2 months of not doing anything. That's not good. So like that's a little bit more concerning. But guys who say, I'm not going to work out, I'm not going to do anything, I won't ding them for it. But the guys who do work out, that's a little bit of a positive. I'm giving you a little bit of credit for that. Guys that want to go out there and compete. And you know what I like the most is no matter who you are, no matter how good you are, you only get to do this one time.
Yep.
The combine only happens one time in your life. It does not matter what's going to happen in your NFL career. And for a lot of these guys, they do watch this event. They'll see the 40s. They'll see the highlights. They'll see all this. Now you have an opportunity to be here yourself. And I just really, I don't know, maybe it's just the draft guy in me, but I love the fact that a lot of these guys are like, hell yeah, I'm doing something at the combine. You know, like this is my chance. This is my moment to be here in Indianapolis. And so I don't know, that's how I always view it as a positive more than a negative.
Since we're trusting the tape.
That's a good,
We're trusting the tape.
And if you do well in this environment, your NFL stock exchange goes up.
That's true.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Sorry,
Yes.
go ahead, Clint. Yeah, 1 to 2 to 3. You're right. I was just throwing in a plug for him.
Yeah, he was plugging everybody up.
I got a question. Trusting the tape, but it's a down year.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. It's
Yes.
a down year.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys need help at defensive end. They needed help at cornerback.
Mhm.
And linebacker. I'm sorry.
Right. Where does
We can just
Trust to say where
Kicker,
does
as soon as I get rid of
where
the
does
kicker who wants 10
Rebel
million.
and Ezraku fit among this year's class at those positions?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good question. You said Ezraku, and who was the other one?
Rebel.
Oh, okay.
A healthy Rebel.
Right. So I was a big Donovan Ezraku guy. They drafted him in the second round,
Right.
obviously. They drafted Tyler Booker. They drafted him at 12, right?
Yeah,
12
12.
last year.
You would have flipped him?
I'd have flipped them because when they drafted Booker at 12, I was like, God, that's early for me. And then they drafted Ezraku in the second round. I was like, all right, it worked out, I guess. Like, because if you would have flipped that, I would have perfect Cowboys draft.
Yeah.
So I liked Ezraku a lot. I would probably have Ezraku. I would have Reuben Bain above him. I don't consider Arville Reese an edge rusher. I think he's an off-ball linebacker. So Bain would be above him.
Bailey?
I think I'd actually Messidor is my edge too.
Okay.
I have Akeem Messidor as my second best edge rusher. So I would have Bain, I would have Messidor, and then I would have Ezraku and David Bailey sort of like right there. I would have one of those two guys. It kind of depends.
Okay.
Ezraku's obviously not as twitchy as a guy like Bailey is. So if you lean a little bit more into the athleticism part of it, you could lean towards Bailey's side of things, but I thought Ezraku was a lot more technically sound. I thought he won in a lot of translatable ways. I think he's better against the run. I think pound for pound he is stronger. So it's a little bit of a different conversation, but I'd probably have Ezraku somewhere like edge 3, edge 4 in this class. And then Revel, where would I have Revel?
I'll go through my rankings, and then
Okay.
you tell me, would you have Revel ahead or behind him?
Okay.
Mansour Delane,
Behind.
Avion Terrell,
Behind.
Jermod McCoy,
Behind.
Colton Hood,
Ahead.
Chris Johnson,
Ahead.
Brandon Cisse.
Right there. Like he's right
Okay,
there
so he'd be
with
corner
Cisse
4 or
for me.
5.
Yeah,
He
for
would
me.
be picked in the 20s.
I love McCoy. Like obviously the ACL, you throw that into it, but like
He'll move up as soon as I see him work out.
McCoy's 2024 is better than anybody's 2025 that I saw this past year at the cornerback position. I mean, like the dude's 6'2", 6'3", like 205 pounds. I mean, he is everything that you want as a press man corner. So I absolutely love McCoy. I think he's CB1.
So Rebel will be a first-round pick in this class.
Well, you throw in the ACL. I mean,
I'm talking about healthy Rebel.
oh, healthy Revel?
No,
That's cheating.
because I think the only 3 first-rounders that I would have in this class are McCoy, Avion Terrell, and Mansour Delane. I'd take all 3 of them above Revel. And then Cisse is sort of that like late first, early second round guy, but Revel would be right there. So I'd probably consider Revel to be like an early second rounder in this class.
If you could draw up the realistics, and you know what? I need to preface. I preface so many things that I say for no reason. I don't have to do this, but
I do this a lot too. I'll start saying something and then I'll go, actually, you know what? Let me take you back. Actually.
Because like I just want to make sure that people understand, and I shouldn't do this because it's really just a reaction to seeing things online, which you should just ignore. But like realistic means different things to different people. People are going to tell me the Cowboys can't have player X at 12, and they're going to say it about 19 guys.
Okay,
And I remember when CeeDee Lamb was drafted, and every time I ran a simulator and he was available to me at 17 for the Cowboys, I restarted the simulator. I was like, it's not going to happen, right? And then it happened. So in whatever your version of realistic is,
Okay.
the perfect Cowboys draft, 12 and 20.
The perfect Cowboys draft is for Caleb Downs to somehow get to 12.
Or Sonny.
Yeah. I think either of those guys, which I'm becoming less and less convinced that Sonny is even making it out of the top 8 at this point.
Yeah, it used to be I thought that you had no shot at Downs.
Right.
And like Sonny
was
linebacker,
the guy. Yeah.
And in the last week, I'm like, maybe you can get Downs.
Right. So I would say the perfect scenario is probably Downs at 12. And then
what if we could get Messidor?
Yeah, I mean, Messidor at 20 or Avion Terrell at 20 is probably the next 2 that I would go with. So I would say that Styles or Downs is the dream at 12, and then you pair it with Messidor and or Terrell.
So you guys are campaigning for the Cowboys to not get an edge rusher in the first round.
I threw out
Well,
Messidor.
maybe Messidor.
We threw
Maybe
Messidor.
Messidor.
Well, you said okay. I thought you Terrell. Okay, I thought you.
I also think
Either one. I think either one because it kind of depends on what you think of the rest of the team building because they don't pick again until the 4th round, right?
Right.
Correct.
So
for now, I'm putting the second round tender on my kicker, and I dare somebody to sign him.
So in the 4th round, you could probably still get a starting outside. Yeah, you could probably still get a starting outside linebacker in this class, to be honest with you, because linebacker's deep.
Yeah.
So you could probably
House
convince
is
yourself.
burning up front.
What,
Yeah,
you're saying on the defensive line? You're saying?
Yeah, the house is burning.
We have Ezraku's by himself in the edge room right now.
doesn't need
It's
anybody
just
else.
him. But so also,
I believe in my boy.
Well, and I also wonder because you're talking about getting out of the first round without that, and I think that is kind of what helps your guy, Akeem Messidor, in this class.
Yeah.
Is traditionally the best prospects.
Yeah.
Are 20 years old. They've been kicking butt and taking names.
Right.
But they're 20 years old. These are
Yeah.
coming at 25, and I almost feel like it's like adding a vet
Mhm.
because when you're talking about coming out of the first round without a pass rusher,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, if you really want to fix your pass rush this year, the draft's not better than free agency. You need guys who can do it, not guys that are going to come along and do it.
Right.
But maybe Messidor's a little bit different.
Messidor's
He's
not
an old man.
Messidor's not for every. I love Messidor, so I call him my fully grown adult son. He's one of my players. But look, I think that he's not for every team. Like if you're a team that's in a multi-year winning window, like you're in a multi-year rebuild, don't draft Messidor.
Right.
There's no point. Half of his rookie contract is going to be gone. He's going to be 28 by the time that you're good. Yeah. But if you are the Lions, if you are the Cowboys, if you are the Chicago Bears sitting there at 17, 20, 25, yeah, you could absolutely draft him in the first round because he's a ready-made pass rusher for you. So the more I think about it, the more I do think that like Downs at 12 is the dream, and then I think Messidor would probably be my next pick because you can add corners later, and obviously they have guys that they can believe in there. But yeah, I think Messidor is great, and too often I think I've seen people go, well, he's 25 as like a you can't draft him type of a thing. And,
right.
and they'll go, well, I'd rather have this guy who's 22 instead. I was like, you're hoping that the guy you just pointed to me is as good as Messidor is when he's 25, the way that Messidor is right now.
Right.
And it's like the Family Guy quote. It's a boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat.
Yeah.
Just get the boat. Like
Yeah.
just draft the guy who's going to be a pass rusher.
I knew John would look up and smile.
Hey, the Cowboys traded Micah Parsons, and they have a bunch of picks, and who knows? One of them could be 80% of Micah Parsons. Wouldn't that be incredible?
Yes.
Outstanding. Trevor, tell people where to find all your work because I think that your work is absolutely amazing. And I don't lie about things like that on the air.
Well, you'd say that because I gave you the compliment to start the segment, so I feel like
it was a counter. It was a counter.
You have amazing teeth.
Wow, thank you.
Great teeth.
That
and
is wonderful.
Great merch.
Great teeth.
Thank you. Were we restocking the hats soon, by the way? By the way, NFL Stock Exchange, that's where you can see all my stuff. Myself and Connor Rogers covering the NFL Draft 365. And then, of course, everything over at PFF.com on the PFF Mock Draft Simulator.
It's lovely. Thank you, Trevor. We appreciate you.
Of course, guys. Appreciate you having me.